You're listening to the Dealer Playbook Podcast, episode 19. Here we go.
You're dialed in to the Dealer Playbook Podcast, where it's all about winning auto dealer strategies that deliver proven results. And now your hosts, Robert Weissman and Michael Cirillo.
Hi there, Michael Cirillo and Robert Weissman here. Robert, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, everybody. Welcome to the Dealer Playbook.
Absolutely. Episode 19 of the Dealer Playbook Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking all about the impact that using video in a 5-step sales process can mean for your dealership in translating into more money, lower cost per lead acquisition, and, something that you, Robert, can attest to is providing a better experience for automotive shoppers where they are already shopping for vehicles. Now, we hear a lot about the value of doing video at the dealership level, as well as from a personal standing, a personal branding perspective. But I know from my own personal experience that producing video can sometimes be a daunting task, but I also know that there are very few things in the online world that can deliver such impact and value. And that value, translates into, like I said, money for your business. And that's like video. That's one of the things that myself and you, especially Robert, definitely know for sure that doing video and doing it in the right places and in the right sequence can translate to profitability.
Yeah. It's only good can come out of good videos with a good strategy, though, and that's key. And that's what our guest today is going to talk to us about.
Yeah, so we, in thinking about video and how to use it strategically, we couldn't think of anybody better to speak on the topic, and that's why we've invited, video creation and production expert, our friend Andrew Myers from What's Next Media, to be on our show today because, honestly, we've never seen the quality of video production like what he does, but more importantly, the ability he has to penetrate the market on behalf of dealerships with this 5-step strategy that we're going to talk about today. Now, this, of course, is not a sales pitch for anything, but really there's just so much value that we're going to deliver and that Andrew is going to deliver so that you can build greater awareness about your products, your services, and your dealership by using video.
And just like that, we are here sitting down with a good friend of mine and a guy that, can probably maybe even talk more than me.
Oh, definitely.
And, Andrew Myers from What's Next Media in Seattle,
it's a fellow West Coaster,
Washington. Is that where that is? Is that where we're at?
That's
exactly where we're going to be. Yep.
I have rain on my window if you need proof.
Oh, really? And all of us, everybody, I don't know if there's time to sign up. Michael, you probably know better than me, or you, Andrew. You guys are both presenters. Jim, our friend Jim Ziegler's Internet Battle Plan is going down out there in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be guests in your town here soon. Andrew.
Yeah, we're pumped. I'm pumped. And you guys will absolutely love it. We've got a 2-hour workshop on the third day at the Internet Battle Plan. Elise Kephart and I, to go over this whole process. So how not just a lot of what we're going to talk about on the call here today, actually. This is going to be a little bit of a free preview.
Awesome. So then I'll be able to take a nap at that time then because I'm already going to get it right now, right?
Well, I'll be recording it either
I'll be there, no doubt.
way, so you can nap out.
So again, Andrew, thanks a million for taking the time to get to, sit down with us, man. We appreciate it, definitely.
So we talked in the pre-show a lot about, there's lots of people out there talking about how to optimize video and how to get it ranking in search engine and all that kind of stuff. But I think, the unique angle that you come from, Andrew, is that there's a strategy that you have behind video to, like we mentioned in the pre-show, have enough of an impact on the market and on automotive consumers to turn them into paying customers. So that's really, I guess, the first question for you is let's talk more about the strategy that you have that's proven and tested instead of, talking about how to create great quality video. What is the first step to attracting or having an impact on the market with video?
Perfect question. I know this, that in old school marketing, the first question that was asked at any time they got together to build a marketing brief was, who's our target customer here? And there's a big difference between a customer that you're trying to attract into your funnel and a customer that's already in your funnel and already wants a car that you sell. You just got to get out of your own way. So the very first difference for us is just a philosophy difference where, I don't want to say everybody, but almost everyone that pitches themselves as a video company is selling the opportunity to get new people in your funnel with video. So first and foremost, I think that from a dealer's point of view, the focus with video is, how do I build products? How do I design products for people who already are in my funnel, already on my website, already watching my listings, already contacting my BDC, possibly already even test driving my cars? So how do I take video and make it for those people, where A, it doesn't cost anything to show it to them, and B, it has the greatest tractionable difference, because these are people who are basically already potentials of yours.
And so is there a step-by-step to making this happen? So, I mean, if somebody already has a lot of these prospects in their funnel, what types of videos should they be creating to catch them?
So everybody already has these types of prospects in their funnel. I mean, there's not a dealership out there that doesn't receive web traffic or doesn't receive VDP openings on their listings. Right. So for the most part, what we try to focus on is videos that would give the customer a reason to buy from you. So if you come out on the lot, you don't want your sales guys talking just about how great Chevy is, because that customer isn't being given reasons to buy from your store. So we want to focus on video that's great content that the customer wants to talk about already, so that it's not advertising, but then make sure that it's offered as presented by, offered to you by. The simplest answer to your question is making sure that the dealership can claim ownership over that content so that they can offer it as something that they give. So let me give you an example. Elise Kephart, our new regional branding manager, everybody knows that she used to have a drink machine that was in her, right there at her station selling cars. And she didn't do that because she didn't want her customers to be thirsty, because the dealership has a drink machine also. She did it because she wanted credit for being the one that solved their thirst. So if you look at videos the same way, I would say no matter what type of videos you make, whether it's testimonials or brand statements of value or department statements, what matters is that you can present the video as something that you made for them and perhaps a reason to buy from you if they like the content.
Yeah, fair. I mean, makes complete sense. And I mean, basically,
so one of the other things you mentioned before,
answer questions and be valuable.
Yeah, well, not only that, but there's ways to say this is from me and ways not to, right? So if you're leasing content and you're just saying, well, I got a video already, or if it's a non-generic or if it's a completely generic video that you're sending out, then you're just solving that customer's thirst for information, but you're not getting credit that you solved it, that you went the extra mile to be the reason they're not thirsty.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I got you.
So, and then you said something about, is there steps? There's been a proven 5-step sales process, from Jim Ziegler to Joe Verdi to everybody forever, about how to slow the customer down and avoid price and see the process as a 5-step process. So introduction, short story, presentation, close, and then the second sale, obviously, with the 5th step being rehashing of the customer. So we try to break the dealers, and this is what our workshop's about. We try to break those digital funnels down into those same sort of steps, with your introduction being your listings and your third-party vehicle listings, the short story opportunity being your actual website where you tell a little bit more about yourself. The presentation is actually of your dealership, not of the product, because they're shopping for the same product from 5 or 6 dealerships. So we call the presentation your BDC response and what you're able to impress upon them at that time about why to buy from you. And then the close would be when that person arrives at your store, and having videos that are on stickers on cars, on kiosks and stuff like that.
Incorporated into the sales process of some way there.
And that doesn't cost any money. So that's a big thing to point out, is that when you pay a dealer or pay a vendor to go outside your funnel and try to get new customers, the closing rate on those customers is probably a little less than the guy who's already on your lot. But it's free to talk to the guy on the lot. It's free to impress the guy on the lot with video. That can't be undervalued.
No question. So let's talk to the dealership who's just getting started with video. Where's a good place for them to start to get into and start making an impact on these in-funnel consumers?
We've got Matt Welch is a good friend of ours out here in Seattle, and he did a webinar with Cobalt, and he said that it took him really a long time to start to see the first signs of traction, but that just like pushing a bus, once he got it going, it took off a lot faster. So the first place to start is a place that you'll be passionate about and a place that you can follow through with. You're not going to do yourself any favors to try out a video idea because you're not likely to have the phones blow off the hook right after you put it online. So it's really about a commitment to it being a strategy, less than it is which video do I make first. If you're interested in stingrays, go make a 5 or 6 part series about the stingray. Start there. If you just lost a deal because the guy didn't want to drive 90 miles and he wasn't sure you had a good detail process, go talk to your detail guy and have him give a breakdown of what he does on every single car, and then splice in a customer, confirming that they drove a far. Even if it's on the phone and they had a good experience, make a video that'll solve a problem, or make a series of videos. But the obvious answer is testimonials. Customers want to hear social proof, and they want to see that other people had a great experience at your store, and they want to hear about it from them. So that's an easy place to start.
I 100% agree with you. And being the lucky guy that does a lot of dealership website composites for 20 groups and stuff, that's being one of my awesome tasks in that. It blows me away the lack of video testimonials on dealer websites out there, because that is just my famous saying, like what I love to say, that's low hanging fruit right there, guys. Is some what that key? Somebody drop a key or something?
I'm dropping the key every time you drop something valuable.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Sounded like coin drops.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I mean it's he's got the live sound effects that there. Yeah, we got the beating drum and stuff. And it's such low hanging fruit on there, and it like that compared to like the dealer rater like feeds going through and those written testimonials. I mean, I don't.
How do you present those testimonials in a way that doesn't make you sound like hey, look at me, hoity-toity? Do you know what I mean? I mean, are the testimonials? Sure. So you mentioned this 5-step process. The introduction, the short sell, the presentation, close, and the rehash. Can you give us an example of where and what those things actually are in terms that would make sense for the listener?
Yeah, I mean, I can walk you through them just real quick. I'll give you the spiel version here. So introductions, when you first make contact with somebody, if you're selling a normal goods or service, they don't care about you. They don't care about the goods or service. That's the point of an introduction, is to just be attractive amongst the crowd, right? So using AutoTrader as an example, you can sort 4 relevant videos with any given piece of inventory for no additional money than what you already pay AutoTrader. So let me give you some examples of what that looks like. So this is a dealer that could make a We Know Muscle Cars video. Go into AutoTrader, upload that video. It takes maybe 2 minutes, and say, on new or used, on every single piece of inventory that I sell that has a 5.0 liter V8 or bigger, show this video. And AutoTrader will do that automatically, instantly, every time for 12 months from the time you upload the video.
Wow.
So this is a situation where you could get a pre-owned muscle car in that's 3 years old. The office, the people in the office are able to put it into your back-end tool. AutoTrader pulls it. It's not even out of the detail bay yet, and you've already got relative video content associated with it, and the picture guy doesn't even know it's there yet.
How many dealers do you think are actually doing anything remotely close to what you just said there?
All of ours are.
Okay, fair enough. So
75 or so, I guess.
Okay, cool.
There's really not a lot, but to give you an idea,
and there's so much traffic on AutoTrader. I mean, it's not for nothing. Like it or love it, there's a lot of traffic on there and a lot of cars on there. So something like that that's a super great nugget. I mean, something like that with a video, it's gonna make you stand apart instantly. You know what I mean?
Well, and not even the video, because they don't see the video until they open your VDP, right? So you could even back up another step and say, if you get 100 vehicle opens in a week, that how AutoTrader works, it returns a field of 10, and they select the ones they're interested in when you do a search. So you were probably in that field of 10 1,000 times. So that's a number that could look like 900 unsolds to you if you look at it with the right pair of eyes. So what's important to point out is that when a customer searches for a Jeep or a Durango or something, and they get 10 of them that are almost exactly like what they're looking at, their inclination is going to be to open the one that's closest to them, the cheapest one, and the one with the most content. So you could upload 4 cat videos to every piece of inventory, and your VDPs would soar, and they wouldn't be disappointed if somebody tried to watch them.
It's essentially optimizing your AutoTrader listings is what it comes down to, like to the max. That's great.
Exactly.
Does that go the same for Cars.com and the other players?
Well, it definitely goes the same for the other players. Cars.com has been a struggle for me and for a lot of video vendors to deal with. They have a system that's a little more difficult. You can still associate one video per one car. You just have to do it manually. What makes AutoTrader so awesome is you could spend 2 hours on this and never think about it again for a whole year. I mean, and you can pair these things based on the exact same criteria that you use to search AutoTrader. So let's say that you wanted to take somebody looking for a $10,000 vehicle or less and hit them with a payment switch video, because that's what that buyer is, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can really merchandise the entire thought process of the buyer based on the inventory they're looking at, and not just pair a specific video with a specific model, which is what you can do on a lot of the other types of services.
And the thing I love about this too is, I mean, this is the introduction phase like we talked about. And I mean, what better way to make a first impression online? I mean, this is a perfect example of how to do that.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose. It's easy to look past perception. It's the first and most important thing. And it sets up a relationship with that customer where you're providing more, you're being relevant, and you're not wasting their time. And their perception is immediately going to be that your dealership's probably a little cleaner. Your people probably know their stuff a little better. The coffee probably tastes a little better.
Yeah, this is something I talk to the team about too. Or whenever we're speaking with dealerships, is like, hey, look, think about the message you're conveying if you're willing to make the effort pre-sale. Do you know what I mean? It's immediately, like you said, it's, we're a cleaner dealership. We respect our people. We're going to take care of them because we're willing to put the effort in before we even know who they are.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm looking at an old muscle car and the GM pops up there and tells me he's a muscle car guy and they stock more of them and work harder to know more about them, and more importantly, they're going to understand how cool it is that I'm buying this thing. Yeah. That is going to, if I'm not interested in the muscle car, I'm certainly interested in that manager and that dealership now, because they're building a relevant conversation with me already.
I mean, that's a whole other end of the end of the spectrum. All right, so the second spectrum then is
a short story. Yeah, so short story, I used to sell toys door to door. Short story was the most important one, to explain why you're in somebody's face with a coloring book. And it's an important element to just say a little bit about yourself and where you came from. Like the magazine people always told everybody they were from a college, and but seeding into who you are and why they should buy from you is what the short story is all about, no matter what you're selling. So in this analogy, we call the short story the dealer's actual website. And a lot of dealers have websites that are extremely similar to each other. And you guys, I'm sure, could speak to this, better than I. And being unique and being individual and putting social proof, right? You said, where do you put the testimonials? You put them right there on that website. And you don't say, look at me. You say, want to hear from your peers, or you with an opt-in question. Don't trust dealers, listen to the customers, check it out. But by merchandising, whether it's product-related videos like the ones our company makes or that you made yourself, whether it's a why buy here video that you've made with a staff member, or whether it's testimonials with guests, all of that content fits great on your website if you don't focus on actually leaving the video itself on a given page, but more a banner that offers the content that video provides. And then you can put a banner anywhere on a website, and it really makes it look sleek. You can take your own smiling faces and your own assets that you've made in these videos, and you can put a banner, whether you have, not to pick out anybody, I guess I better not, but whether you have the worst or the best, website provider, you can put a picture on there. So it makes it so much easier to, for an example, Cobalt, every Volkswagen dealer has Cobalt, and if you cruise around, they look really similar. If you go to some of our clients, it's original assets and it's smiling faces and offers a video and play buttons. And even though Cobalt isn't great at that, it looks like they are. And we've hosted the videos on a separate page.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And that's and Michael, I mean, how that's right on though. Like talking about like with clickable banners and more stuff like that instead of like the video sitting in your front page play, like the little player sitting in there that's
super
positioned.
small.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean the
exactly.
thing too is that this is actionable. I mean this is conversion stuff, right? You're and brand storytelling stuff. So you're actually putting something on your homepage or somewhere on your website that gives people an incentive to click. It's like, yeah, I do want to hear from my peers, or I do want to hear about what experiences people are having here, or even from a search engine perspective, when people are searching for reviews about your dealership, to have those relevant pages from your website pop up. And like you said, Andrew, the social proof to say, oh yeah, this is legit. This isn't, a harvested Yelp review or a Google review.
Exactly. And they don't have to click on it to feel the weight of that person saying you're good. They can pass over it. That's what social proof is supposed to be like.
Yep, love it.
Yeah, very good. All right, next. So we're on the storytelling aspect.
Yeah, well, so presentation. So if you came in on the lot, my greeting would be all about eye contact, my introduction, making a good first impression. My short story would be to tell you about this weekend sale, and the presentation would be what, the meat of the product. So that would be the walk around. So in this instance, the presentation is your first initial response from your BDC. That's when you first start selling. So it's important that presentation. Well, let me point this out first. I think a lot of people think that their BDC is responding to a Honda Civic lead, and that they're trying to sell a Honda Civic. And from my point of view, that couldn't be less accurate. That person probably sent a lead to 3 other Honda stores. They're sold on the Civic. They're trying to figure out about you. So what's important to point out is the presentation is not of the vehicle, but of the dealership itself when you send a BDC response. And that is something that I think is lost on probably 90% of the BDC responses that are going to go out today.
Oh, that's good. I mean, I can't.
Oh, wait, here you go.
There it is.
Boom.
And you know what?
So, and
Elise
speaks to that better than anybody.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, Elise, the way she did her follow-up videos, she was presenting, hey, yeah, you were checking out this vehicle, but then it was also attached to this kind of like, montage of testimonials and stuff, and why buy from me. That I think is where the kind of the success of her process lies. And I think, just like you said it, you hit the nail on the head there, which is that dealerships aren't thinking of it that way. They've kind of invested their thoughts into, subscribing to, if the customer's asking about this vehicle, then I need to give them information about this vehicle, not realizing how many other competitors that they've already searched out. They're sold on the vehicle. That's why they're asking you about it. Now let's show them why you should buy this vehicle from us and none of the others that you've checked out.
Yeah.
Well, and if you started today in the car business somewhere and they were teaching you how to do a walk around and take ups, you would hear the phrase "slow the customer down" no less than 17 times a day for the first year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody addresses that this is the goal of a shopper. I mean, when my first day selling cars, I was making laps between the guy trying to change light bulbs and the sales manager trying to get a better price out of both of them until I could put together a car deal. And I didn't understand why, if he didn't want the blue one, I should still bring him inside, and why I should sit him down, even though we seem to be a ways away on price. And, as you get in the car business, you learn that is what we do, is that we turn these doubts into certainties. We slow the customer down. We offer reasons to buy. We even avoid price. I mean, we literally say that out loud, and we mean it. We avoid price, and we slow the customer down. And if you look at a lot of these websites, they are an ice luge covered in grease to a price and then an exit sign.
That's a good one. I like that analogy. There it is. Boom. And you know what? And that's exactly it. I mean, so many, I don't know where, why, and how we've been conditioned to think that that's what the customer wants to hear about, when there's so much that happens in shaping their purchase decision before price is even an issue. I mean,
or maybe it is what they want to hear about, but just not what we want to tell them.
Well, and I think of my own experience. I mean, my wife and I, when we first got married, I'm driving a 2-door coupe, but we knew family was going to be, in our future. So thinking along those lines, I'm looking at my two-door coupe and anticipating getting a child, a sleeping child especially, in and out of the back seat of a two-door vehicle, packing the thing up. I needed more, I was more focused on features and benefits to, what vehicle could accommodate a family, safety, space, all those sorts of things. And it was after I had kind of worked through those in my head that I was then looking for what vehicle and what price or value did I put on those things. And I mean,
that's how it goes.
Yeah. And I mean,
man.
initially, I think initially too, how much easier that process would have been for me if, like you said in the very beginning, who are you speaking to in the first place? And then let's get some content out there that speaks and addresses the questions at those, specific customer segments. And a lot of the stuff that I talk about is about customer segments because, we throw around this pray and spray, terminology all the time. And one of the reasons for that is because we never consider who the people are who purchase vehicles. And
for sure. Well, and not only that, a lot of people consider all of this stuff in terms of cost per thousand, that they are playing a stock market game and forgone all the knowledge they learned selling cars.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Give me an example of what you mean by that, Andrew.
So this is an easy one. You get into SEO or you get into retargeting or remarketing, and they use the term cost per thousands. And how many dealers will tell somebody, this is the most lethal example of this. Okay, Don, you have a 10,000 ups coming on your website every month, and you're closing 1% of them. So here's my plan to succeed. And immediately it turns into how to get
20,000. Yes, it's increased the traffic, not. Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense, and it makes sense if you're selling a dealer a package where you can get him obsessed on these simple metrics that can be scored. Mm-hmm. But the fact is, 80% of dealers are in small market towns, and there's no way you're going to make it go from 10,000 interested Ford buyers to 20,000. It doesn't work that way. So there's an obvious drop off in the quality of the second 10,000. But more importantly, if you focus on the in market, the first 10,000. It's not this is simple math, but it might not be obvious to everybody that if you spend $30,000 a month on your ad budget and you close 1% of 10,000 leads and you go to work hard on each and every one of those leads and look at all of them as unsolds when you don't give them the right experience and they don't buy from you, if you budge that to 2% rather than to 20,000 ups, then you have taken that $30,000 and doubled its value. So you've basically taken $30,000 and putting it right in your pocket. And you will mathematically have doubled your internet sales because dealers survive on 1% and 2%. To focus on closing every last prospect that actually does want a Ford, that actually is in your market, and treating every individual sale as a unique opportunity and looking at how many, because you can track your ups one at a time. There's a way to get into your settings and look at them that way. And I know dealers that do it that way, and they're focused on, just like you would be on the lot. If 15 customers rolled into your dealership and they got a price and they left, wouldn't you at least want to know which door they left out of so you could lock it? And people don't look at their website that way. They might have one page that's attributing 60% of their bounces, and they don't think about it in those terms the way they would if they had watched 200 prospects walk off the lot. So I guess easy when you to want to treat them like a herd or treat them like a group or a metric. But the fact is, those are 1,000 individual people with 1,000 individual situations, and no herd mentality will individually close one of them. Whereas even if you said, I'm for hillbillies and we sell nothing but trucks, and you might turn off 80 of them, but 20 are listening for real.
And exactly. And what you're saying right now resonates with me. I mean, it's the concept of, stop focusing elsewhere when there's acres of diamonds in your own backyard, kind of a thing. Like they're already just sitting there. So, okay. So we've talked about how to use video in an introduction phase of this 5-step sales process. We've talked about the short story. Yeah.
Short story.
We've talked about presentation and why buy from us using video. What's the next step?
So when the customer is in your showroom, your goal is not to get them to watch a video and hope that the video sells for you. Ridiculous. The goal in having video in your showroom, which is step 4, closes, is having it as part of the customer experience when they're there test driving and deciding to buy. So the reason that you do that is just a demonstration of value. It's the same reason that you clean your cars. It's the same reason that you put a coffee machine in there and a vending machine. It's the same reason that you clean the bathrooms and spent $2 million on a building in the first place. So back to something I said in the beginning about Elise and her soda machine, the goal is not to quench the customer's thirst. It's to get credit for doing so. So to make these content, we make a product video for most of the major brands that we can put their license plate on. So like we have a lot of customers where this step is the least utilized step out of all of the ways they use our product. And it drives me nuts because it's so easy. Yeah, I mean, and these are buyers. I mean, we filtered out the 10,000 down to these 10 people who are going to come in today. We want these people to hear, look what we made for you. Be impressed with the money we spent. Check out this, watch this, feel this, not because the video will sell them, but because the perception of who we are will sell them.
Oh yeah, and it's engagement, and it makes it different than the experience down the block. And that's all you can really do, except give away money nonetheless on the car or create a wow experience. So that one goes hand in hand, and using iPads and a bunch of different ways you can bring that into it. And
let me give you some examples there just quickly, Robert. We've got dealers that put stickers on cars. You can text 90210 and get the video right on your phone. We've got iPod kiosks next to that car that's in the trade-in aisle. So as you pull that car in, you can just switch to the new video.
Or it's you sitting there going to get numbers from the desk, and you leave a video on. Put a couple videos on. But I used to demo this iPad selling system. I'm not sure if it really panned out for the long run or not, but this was early on, and I liked it. It just kind of gave me that kind of like Apple Store feel a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like handing it to people and engaging. And this is when the iPad wasn't as out there, and until it started going through all the price breaks and stuff. So they didn't see them every day. All right, so for time purposes, man, because this is what we do. We ramble on. Let's hear. We still got one more, right? That was four.
We do have one more. It's important to point out that the first four are extremely important because they're free. The fifth one, being the rehash, does leave the funnel a bit. So the fifth one, just simply without getting into details, is using video to do targeted remarketing, using video to contact customers that have already been on your site and do in-stream ads and pre-roll ads, and then using video in your CRM to contact a buyer and bring them back. So having a model video and contacting somebody on their anniversary and having that part of the presentation that you're offering them or showing them your detail base through your CRM. So the fifth way is rehash, and it's just simple, the second sale. And we could talk about it for hours, but it's not always as free as the first four steps. So it's just basically using your CRM and using paid remarketing and using video to bring people back the second time.
But it still falls into. But there still are some angles that you can go through that don't cost you anything to do those, though, right? Like with the CRM. And plus, though, when you talk about cost on a lot of this stuff online with videos, you're not talking about a lot of money either to get compared to what the media that dealers do now.
I don't know anybody that spends more than $2,000 a month on retargeting with our videos, and that is to have us put 12 in-stream ads in front of every single opportunity that hits a video on their site for 2 weeks after they leave the site. And they still, at the end of the month, it's like 8 cents per impression. They end up spending $1,500 bucks.
I mean, forget it. That's unbelievable. All right. Well, listen, that is about it for us today. Wanted to keep it around like the 30-minute mark. Michael, you got anything to add?
No, I think this is such valuable information. If you're not taking away, and can we get the key drop here? If we're not taking away massive amounts of value from how to use video in the 5-step sales process, then I don't know what it will. Andrew, man, thank you so much. How do people get a hold of you to learn more about this? Because you're clearly an undisputed.
I try to be the first answer. I'll be around all year, and
just this year.
Yeah, just this year. I'm hoping, and then I'll be done. No, Internet Battle Plan is the first and easiest way to get a hold of us. If you can't make it out to Seattle, you should rethink that. But if you still rethink it and can't, I'm going to be recording our entire presentation and workshop. It'll all be on our website, which is whatsnext.pro. And people can reach me anytime at Myers, AMYERS at whatsnext.pro. And I'll even throw my cell phone out here. It's 206-478-8721. No inappropriate text, please.
And I'll put Robert. Everything like that to the I'll put everything into the show notes for everybody. All his contact and stuff will be there. And just like that, everybody, that was my friend and, video expert, Andrew Myers. Michael, you and me, we're both, big into video and love everything that has to do with it. And I know I was picking up a little bit from him there, and I can see how, everything he was saying was really, hitting home and making sense. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that he's the guy that knows what he's talking about. I love, like I said in the pre-show, the fact that there is a strategy to video. It's not just about jumping on YouTube and optimizing. I mean, those definitely have value. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, it's like, no, there's a bigger way on top of all of that to use video strategically and sequentially to drive qualified business to your dealership. And I love what he talked about, using what's already in the funnel. And we never really think in terms of that. We always think in terms of new customer acquisition, people that haven't had any interaction yet with the dealership. But to be able to look at who's already in our funnel and capture their attention and provide an experience for them that's unparalleled, that they're not going to get elsewhere, and drive or give a good enough reason for those people to do business at your dealership. I think that's so powerful.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the AutoTrader thing, guys, that was super valuable, action for you to go back at if you're internet manager, whatever, or bring that to your team, or tell it to that person, bring that idea to the table. Because if you're paying for AutoTrader, you're paying some serious coin. You know what I'm saying? So it costs no extra to do it. So get the most out of your listing by far. Boom. Keys open doors. Keys open doors.
There it is.
All right,
cool,
everybody.
Man.
The Dealer Playbook, episode 19, almost at the big 20. Thank you so much for, sitting down with us today. We're so glad you made it.
So, and hey, I mean, just completely grateful and thrilled about all the support we've been receiving and the comments and feedback we're getting at thedealerplaybook.com. People are commenting on the show notes and we're engaging with you. I think it's so incredible. Don't forget to subscribe. Fill out your information in that web box that we have there, and subscribe so that you can get the latest episodes delivered right to your inbox. And until next time,
we'll talk to you then.